Hello, can you hear me? Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello, it's Otamacon Rex here with another movie review. Here we discuss films that have a narrative background in aliens, ghosts, robots, and creatures. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. So today's movie is Batman Elseworld, The Doom That Came to Gotham. It came out March 2023. I rented it on streaming for about $5, $4.99 plus tax. And okay, well, let's just talk about it. So what are some of the plot and narrative predictions? I really didn't have one because I just saw it and I clicked on it because I'm getting ready to see the movie The Flash. And so, when I saw the new Batman cartoon come up, whoops, I hope you guys didn't hear that. So when this new Batman movie showed up, I just clicked on it. I didn't really think too much of it. So I'm watching it, and about halfway through, I came up with a plot prediction. I was just like, watch Batman turn into a bat, turn into the man bat in this one. So that was my plot prediction in that one. What is the genre? It's fantasy. This one, it's a science versus the supernatural. So it's definitely in the fantasy genre. Cinematography. What kind of It's animation. It's who drew it? Mike. Yeah, the guy who made the Hellboy cartoon, Mike Mignola or something like that. He's the one who drew this animation. I really don't like the animation in this one. And I'll tell you why. Some of the characters I didn't understand who they were because I think the way they were drawn. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Anyways, so what is the original work? So this is based off a comic book, a 3-part series. It's in Elseworld, so it's like Batman placed in a different universe. This one's placed in like the 1920s steampunk era universe that has Batman against the basically the Cthulhu mythos. That's who they're playing it against. So that's the origin of this comic book series. That's where it came from. It was drawn, and I don't know if it was directed, but it was definitely drawn by the artist that did the Hellboy cartoon. His name was Mike Mignola. He's the artist. I didn't like the artwork at all. Not at all. I did not like. So I'm gonna have to. The practical effects, the CGI. I mean, it was straight. It was drawn animation. It wasn't really too much CGI or anything like that. I just could not tell what characters were what. I mean, I knew who Batman was, but the rest of the characters, I could not really tell who was who. Okay, anyways, moving on. TV trope. What plot convictions did I notice in the film? It's basically science versus magic. You got the Batman versus the Cthulhu mythos. That's basically what it's really about. It should be a John Constantine movie. I remember watching Justice League Dark, and I only bought the movie because Batman was on it, but it ended up not being a Batman movie. It's a John Constantine movie. So this is kind of inverted. This should be a John Constantine movie, but it's a Batman movie. So let's move on to the characters. Hero, villain, damsel in distress, sidekick, weapons, mode of transportation, and locality. I don't even think I talked about the locality. I don't think I wrote that down. Okay, so Batman, he has the 1930s gaslight costume. He has like this collar. He looks like, I don't know. He's dressed like the Jack the Ripper from that era. Like I said, it's a timepiece. So it's basically in the 1920s. I wasn't really impressed by the voice acting of the Batman character either. Now, I don't know if I'm just, a little sour because of Kevin Conroy's gone, but like this guy's voice did not do it for me. He did not sound like the Bat. And another thing about this Batman character, he was really depressed through the entire movie. It didn't seem like a Batman movie. I know it's supposed to be haunting and it's supposed to be like a horror ghost story. So it's not supposed to be really, there's not too much action going on. But geez, like this movie was just dull. At least the Batman was. The Batman character was really, really dull and boring. There was a transmorphication into the Man-Bat. So basically in this, let's move on to the villains. So what they did in this movie is they took the villains and they all are supernatural. So like Poison Ivy is a ghost, Mr. Freeze is a ghost, the Oracle is a psychic. They had Batman transform into an actual man-bat through like magic, not through like potion or science or anything like that. It was like literal magic. So like the main villain is Ra's al Ghul and his daughter, of course. There wasn't really no League of Shadows in this one. They were working more with demons and supernatural elements. Damsel in distress. I couldn't really think of a damsel in distress. A lot of characters I didn't know who they were. I mean, I looked it up and then I found out, but I was like, really? Like the Mr. Freeze character. Towards the end of it, I was like, why don't you just make this guy Mr. Freeze? Like he's obviously a ghost that's making everybody free. Well, I guess that was Mr. Freeze, and I couldn't tell. Just by the way he was drawn and everything, I couldn't tell that was Mr. Freeze. The sidekick. I'm gonna go with Etrigan, the demon who rhymes. God, I hate this guy. So I first came across this character in the Justice League Dark. Now I like the Justice League Dark. I like that comic book issue series with John Constantine. I mean, I like the whole myth and magic thing, period. But I'm watching the series and this stupid demon keeps talking and he's rhyming every single time. It just sounds corny, right? For him, every single time he talks, he rhymes. And so they put that same demon in this one. And his corny ass rhymes throughout the whole movie. I just really do not like that character at all. I really don't like it. I just think it's super corny to have a demonic entity from hell that rhymes every time he speaks. I guess. I don't know. It's a gimmick. It's not a gimmick I like. So he was basically the sidekick in it. In this movie, Batman's definitely outmatched. There's nothing he could really do to fight magic. Weapons. You have the same basic weapons. You have like the back hook, the battering. Like he made some potions, some acid potion to throw out these monsters. And that was the whole science versus magic, because the one girl was like, the villain was just like, what kind of magic are you using? And he replies, it's not magic, it's science. But it's really, they're kind of intertwined a little bit, a little bit of magic and a little bit of science is in a little bit of both. So that was pretty cool. Let's get to the okay, yeah, and another one of his weapons was Etrigan. He had Etrigan and he was trapped like a genie. So he kept him around like in a genie in a bottle. So when he got into some trouble, all he had to do was break the bottle, and then the demon came out, and then fought other demons. That was pretty interesting. That Batman had to use, like, I was waiting for him to have to use some sort of magical device, some gauntlet, or just something magical, because you're fighting with magic and demons, witches and demons and stuff. So you need something magical, like an amulet or something. But he didn't really have that. He just had the genie demon in his pocket that he pulled out. It was okay. Mode of transportation, they had the Batmobile in it. I think it was an old time, one of those, I forget what kind. I want to say trolley race car, but I know that's not what it is. But it's an old race car from the 1920s, refurnished into a Batmobile. It was a pretty good idea. It was a pretty cool looking Batmobile, actually. I liked it. I like this steampunk Batmobile. I like the period piece that they did in this one. This one was way better than that Tokyo Samurai Batman. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! They had this horrible scene where this Bat-cycle turned into a robot, and it was just too silly. It was just too silly. And which I want to talk about another point. Okay, when it came to my plot prediction and the transmorphication of Batman when he turned into a bat towards the end of the show. They did that in another movie, in another Batman movie, Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one was done more realistic because you're dealing with magic and supernatural entities and demons. So it kind of made sense. In that one, and Batman versus the Turtles, it was just silly. It was Saturday morning cartoon silly. Because I swear, like, I think the Joker like drinks some of the ooze and then turns into like a rattlesnake, and he ends up fighting. It was just stupid. It was just silly. It was good until the end. This one was a little more haunting. Like, there's not really a happy ending in this one. Like, Batman is pretty much suicidal in this one, and there's just not a happy ending in this one. This is definitely H.P. Lovecraftian cartoon-ish. All right, let's see. Moving on. So acting, did the actors seem believable? It's a cartoon, doesn't really apply. What was the cultural impact of the movie? It wasn't really one. It's cartoon, like I said. Doesn't really apply. So number 10, what is the rating system? I would give it a casual viewing. If you're not seeing, like, I wasn't doing anything on a Friday night, so I just popped it on, getting ready for the Flash movie coming up. That's kind of why I picked it. Is it a must-see? No. You're only going to watch it if you're an actual Batman fan. If you're not a Batman fan, don't bother watching this one. Okay, so summary and recommendations. All right. Today we reviewed the movie Batman. It's an Elseworld movie, Doom, that came to Gotham. It's basically Batman versus the Cthulhu mythos. I can never say that right. I can never pronounce it right. It's an animation. It's a timepiece. It's 1920s steampunk animation. It's drawn in the form of the Hellboy comic book and cartoon universe. So I don't know if that's your cup of tea. It wasn't mine. It was a little off-putting. I didn't like the animation style they took. And that's really much it. So it's a casual viewing. If you're a Batman fan, watch it. If you're not, you can skip it. All right, well, Tomicon Rex out. Thank you. Bye-bye.